Hey guys, we got our template pretty much done. Now we want to move on to the search bar. Alright, so before we add our JavaScript to make it animate, we want to style it. Alright, so in the CSS, I'm going to go down here past the footer, and the first thing I want to do is the search form ID. Alright, so I want to make sure that we display it as a block. Alright, and I'm just going to put an initial margin bottom of 15 pixels. Alright, so that's the main form. The field container, okay, so the field container we also want to display as a block. We want to position it relative, and we'll give it a width of 90% and then a margin 0 on the top and bottom, auto on the left and right. Alright, so now let's do the search button in its hover state. So search, oops, what do we got? Search btn hover. Okay, then we're gonna just make it, we're gonna filter the opacity, so filter alpha opacity, and that's gonna be set to 90, and then we'll say opacity set to 0.9. Alright, so basically this here is for older browsers. We just want to set the opacity to 0.9. And let's see, so let's do the search field. I think it's search field. Yeah, we want to do the search field input class. Alright, so search field. Alright, so we got quite a bit to do here. First thing, box sizing. I'm going to set to border box, and we want to make sure it's displayed as a block. And we'll set the width currently, or initially, we're going to set the width to 45% and give it some padding. We'll do 11 top and bottom, 7 left and right. Actually, I want to change the padding right. Padding right will be 43 pixels, and then the background is going to be white. The color, let's do a gray color. And border. Okay, so the border should be 1 pixel solid, and it's going to be a gray color. Okay, font size. Font size, I'm going to do 1.6 M, and I want to change the border bottom color. So border bottom color is going to be D2, E2, E7, and border radius, I'm going to set to 1 pixel, and I want to give it a box shadow as well. Okay, box shadow, we're going to say inset 0, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, and then we're going to do RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.1 for the opacity. What else? 0, 0, 0, 6 pixels, and then the color will be a grayish color for the shadow. Alright, and I should probably do the vendor prefix versions of this as well. So we'll do Moz and WebKit. And let's do the same thing for box sizing. And border radius. Alright. So let me just see what this looks like right now. Alright. So we're getting there. The next thing I want to do is the search button. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Actually, let me move this hover down here. And then above that, I'll do search button. Okay, so the search button, I'm going to position this absolute. And we're going to say from the right, we're going to go 360 pixels. From the top, just 5 pixels. Alright, and the height, let's give it a height and width of 32 pixels, because this is going to be that little magnifying glass icon thing. Okay, width, and let's make sure the border is set to 0. The cursor, we want to change to a pointer. And zoom, let's give it a zoom of 1. And then I want to change the opacity again, so let me just grab, where was it? Oh, right here. I'll grab this. Okay, except now I want to change this to 65. So that'll be 65, this will be 0.65. And then we'll have background. Which will initially be transparent, and then we're going to add that URL of the search icon. And we want to set that to the top left with no repeat. Alright, let's see how that looks. Okay, I didn't save it. Alright, so that's our button. So now let's try to animate this. Okay, so we're going to go into our JavaScript file. And let's see. Let's call this Searchbar handler. Alright, and we're going to say function. Alright, so basically when the DOM's ready, we're going to call a function. And let's create a variable for the search field. And that's going to equal jQuery ID query, okay, because we added the ID of query onto the search input. Alright, and then we want another variable for the icon. And that's going to equal jQuery ID search btn. Alright, so focus handler. Okay, so we're going to grab the search field. Okay, so this is this icon here, and then we're going to say dot on. We're going to use the on method, and the event that we want is the focus event. Okay, so on focus we want to run a function. Alright, and we're going to say this Okay, this meaning the search input box animate. Okay, so we're going to use the animate function, which we haven't used yet this series. So we're going to pass in some options to this animate method. All right, first is going to be the width. We're going to set to 100%. All right, so this should be in quotes. Okay, 100%. And actually, that's the only options we need. We need another parameter after the options, which will be the speed. So I'm going to put 400. All right. And then after that, we need the icon to animate as well. All right. So we're going to grab that. Okay, we have a variable for icon as well, and icon dot animate. Whoops. Icon dot animate. And let's see, options. And for this, we're going to say right 10 pixels. All right, and then here, I want to put a comma here. Same thing, 400. All right, so that's the focus handler. Now let's do the blur event handler. Actually, this should be focus event and blur event. All right, so for the blur event, I'm actually going to copy this here. All right, and we're going to say search field dot on blur. And then, actually, let me just get this stuff out of here. Okay, and then we're going to have an if statement. And what we're going to check here is we're going to say if search field. Geez, that was some bad spelling. If search field, the value of search field, so we're going to do dot val is equal to nothing, then we'll say search field dot animate. All right, and then we're going to pass in width, which will be 45%. Okay, with 45%, and then down here we want a comma, 400. All right, and then the last parameter here is going to be an empty function. All right, and then underneath, let's just copy this. Okay, and then we're going to do that with the icon, except we want to change right. I want to change right to 360 pixels. All right, so let's see what this does. We'll go ahead and save, reload. Okay, so nothing's happening. I'm going to bring up the console. So I obviously made a mistake somewhere. Alright, so I see my mistake. I put quotes here, and these shouldn't have quotes. This is a variable. Alright, same thing here. Alright, so it looks like that's it. Alright, so let's save that. There we go. Alright, so we click in, we click out, search field. Okay, it looks like I spelled search field wrong on line 18. Sorry about that. Okay. Alright, good. So that's our search bar. Alright, so in the next video we will start to work with the API. We'll make the GET requests that we need to make to fetch that information.